Now, when you're using colored pencil, it's important to remember that in order to try these experimental techniques, you need pigment on your paper. These techniques do not work on paper, they work on colored pencils. So when you're going to blend with a solvent, which is one of the things I'm going to be showing you, you need to make sure you have enough color on your paper to make it happen. So I'm just going to speed this up for a second. The first technique I'm going to show you is just using a tissue paper or a makeup sponge to blend. This is dry blending. And what happens when you dry blend? You're really just kind of moving the pigment around and blending it with pressure, but you're not damaging the paper or really changing anything. Okay? You can go in circular motions to kind of blend it together. And you can see that some pigment came off on the sponge. That's how I know that it's working. The next technique you can use to blend your pencils is a colorless blender. It's basically a colored pencil with no pigment in it, and you do the same thing. You just kind of move your pencil across, smoothing it out and blending your image. Now, if I tried to blend these areas over here, you can see it works a little bit, but if I don't have pencil and pigment on my paper, it doesn't blend. There's nothing to blend. The next thing we're gonna do is take a look at what happens when we use alcohol. Now, rubbing alcohol is in the drawing cabinet under the solvents. You want to take a small container and either a Q-tip or a brush. Now, you don't wanna soak it, and you definitely don't wanna soak your paper. You're just gonna dip it lightly in there, kind of tap the side, and then rub it across your paper. You don't want to press hard because now you're putting something wet on drawing paper. Okay? And you're just going to move it around. Sometimes it can create a little bit more of a watercolor look. Okay? And again, pigment came off on our Q-tip, which means we know it's working. The next solvent we're going to try is baby oil. Now, you need to remember baby oil will stain your paper. You need to only put baby oil where there is colored pencil. This is actually pretty light, so I'm just gonna take my colors again and add some more pigment because I really don't want this oil to show through on my paper. So by layering, every time I layer, I'm actually blending pencil as well. And the more you layer, the better this technique will work. Okay? You can actually layer so much that's called burnishing, and then you can scrape away colored pencil. So you apply this the same way that you applied the baby oil, either with a brush or a Q-tip. I'm gonna make sure this is the dry side, yep. And you just want a tiny amount on your Q-tip. Now you can do little soft circles. You don't want to go past the outline, so this takes a little bit longer. And small circles, just kind of blending this all in. You probably won't need to refill your Q-tip, but you might need to switch sides to sort of get some more of that pigment moving around. And there you have it.